What can you state what you just said?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Repeat that.
Yeah, you're breaking up. You said clarify what I want to do, like goal-wise and job-wise.
Yeah. You have to always be really clear on what do you want. So it sounds like you have a job that maybe you're not really 100% happy with. So figure out what about it isn't making you happy. So a lot of times,
I'm happy with it. I just want to go up the scale, and do something more advanced with the job that I'm doing. I'm a caretaker, so I want to just get more jobs and work more because I'm only working part time. So.
Okay, and so have you set up an action plan to make that happen?
I know what I need to do, so now I just need to do it. I need to talk to my boss and ask her for more work and whatnot.
Exactly.
So I think I know what I need to do.
And that's the thing with coaching clients. Usually, you know what it is that you need to do. It's just a matter of clarifying and then actually following through with what it is that you know. So you say you already know. You just need to talk to your boss. That would be my advice. Go do that. Start putting those things in place. And as you or if you come up with roadblocks, always find a way to work around them. And sometimes that's through a coach. Sometimes it's not. But just make sure that you're not holding yourself back because of, the box, like
right.
we mentioned.
The box.
Any doubts, anything that you believe that you're, we've all got this internal gremlin that tells us that we're not good enough. So if you start hearing that inner critic in your head telling you you're not good enough, you really want to shut him down, and a coach can help with that. And that allows you to keep moving forward.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thanks, Ian.
Thank you. Bye.
That's awesome. See, that's awesome. And going back to the law of attraction,
mm-hmm.
and what you're saying here is so many people do that. I'm guilty. I am. I'm guilty. I get that woe is me, and that when I'm having a bad day, I stick on the bad day.
Well, there's a reason for that, and I can tell you why.
What is it?
Well, it's what I call the files and the programs.
Okay.
So essentially, we use the energy of our body like a filing system, and we're storing records and files of every life experience we've ever had. So every thought, feeling, emotion, basically every nanosecond of our life. We log it, we record it, and we carry it around.
And we store it.
We store it.
We store it.
We store it for reference later.
Okay.
So that is a lot of information just from our experiences and knowing that we make up stories about everything that happens in our life, whether it's true or not. We're making stuff up all the time. We also have files from our ancestors. So all of their belief systems, all of their life experiences, all of their perceptions on how the world is supposed to work. Our ancestors, because we're genetically a part of them.
So they all dump this, right?
They do, but there's a good reason.
Okay.
they're really not
reason?
being malicious.
Okay, I'm just checking.
They're helping speed up our learning curve. It's the pool of knowledge that we pull from so that we know how to survive and live within this world. And, kind of the downside is there's a lot of negative limiting programming that comes with the good.
Okay.
And so that's why we get stuck on the negative stuff, because we're not just talking about or stuck on like with the example of this client, the poor financial decision. Right. It's not just that one decision. It's that one plus every other decision.
That's triggering something. It's an on button. Rewind, on button. We're going to get all this stuff that's going to come across.
Yeah, and we're going to pull all of that information because really our mind is trying to help us figure out how to solve it. Okay. So our mind looks through all of our files to say, here are the past experiences.
So let's weed through this stuff here for a while.
Right, and that's where we can really get stuck in the muck of the stuff.
The stuff.
Because we repeat the same stuff, the same patterns over and over again, because that's what has happened in the past, not necessarily what worked,
right?
But what our past patterns are.
So what you help to do, Erin, is stop that pattern.
Yes, and that's where the Serenity Vibration Healing work comes in.
Perfect.
With that, it allows me to energetically delete out the corrupted files and programs, just like you would with a computer.
Nice. So you can do that. Yeah. You can. So there's hope.
Oh, yeah.
So there is hope. Believe me, there's hope. So you can do some deletion.
Yes, and we can do some addition too. But so if you say that there's a specific habit that you have, or there's a pattern that you keep playing out over and over again, well, we can energetically delete out if it's limiting you and you don't want to keep it. We can energetically delete out all the related files that have you repeating the pattern. So every all 5 million times you've done it in the past, we can start neutralizing those, so that way you're freed up to start making new choices now.
New choices, put new information there to feed off of.
That's why a lot of times people will set the New Year's resolutions and they're like, this is the year, I'm going to do the thing.
Guilty.
And then
I'm good this year. Let me tell you, Aaron, this year I'm kicking ass. I got it all together. It's all with last year. It's gone. And 3 weeks into it, I'm going, well,
yeah.
I think I'll just, that was not too bad.
2012.
Right. 2012. It might be 13, 14, but you know what? We're on the path. And it's denial. I mean, you go into that denial.
Old programs. Mm-hmm. Because you're essentially, if you've always done it, through path A, right. And all of a sudden you set the resolution, you say, I'm going to, no more path A, I'm going to do this path B thing, and that's going to be the thing. You're having to fight against the ingrained pattern. It's like a wagon wheel on a dirt road.
Right.
The more times you go down that path,
the more
ingrained it is.
The deeper it gets.
The more difficult it is.
The right turn gets a little more difficult.
Yeah, very much so. It's more difficult to choose the thing that would be the more ideal option. And so as we energetically start removing these programs,
it gets easier.
It's like filling in that groove from the bottom up. You can more easily jump out of that groove, that rut, that pattern. You can choose something else.
And Aaron, a lot of that is this noodle up here, this thought process stuff up here. The power of thought is so amazing. When they said, the pen is mightier than the sword, it really is. Word is so powerful. I mean, a word could change lots of things. And if you constantly say that word and actually believe in that word, and actually, because that universe is up there as manufacturing stuff. So, and if you believe it and then you feel it, then you have to take it internally. Is that right? I mean, if you say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be a musician. Okay, so not only the fact that now that I put that thought out there, Aaron, now I actually have to believe it.
Right, and that's also where, with the serenity work with my clients, with the energy work, it comes in play. Because if there are files and programs that you're carrying around that say you're not good enough, your musicians, they can't really make money. Right. I mean, you're going to have to do all these other things.
You're too old. You're too this. You're too that. Who are you kidding? There's a million people out there doing that. You're not going to be able to do that. So why bother?
Right.
So you help delete all that stuff.
Yes, all the mind chatter, the gremlin, that inner critic.
I got a group of them up there.
Yeah,
good chorus line though. they do it in harmony though. I got to tell you, they're good, but they're still in there. They're all nipping and tucking in there. They're all
because it does start with a thought. You have to feel it, you have to believe it, but at the same time, there always has to be action moving forward. And so if you think it and you feel it and you believe it, but you're still not moving it forward, you're just idling.
I think, Aaron, that's where a lot of people, and that's where I found myself, because, I know what I want, and I believe it, I see it, but, okay, now that I have those two items in place, how do I actually put the inertia to it, How do I get that I've got, it's like I'm sitting in this beautiful Ferrari, got the key in the ignition, but I've got no gas. So how do I fill that tank? To get that moving forward.
Well, what's stopping you from?
No, I'm just saying. I mean, how would you help somebody get on that path? I get by asking questions of what's stopping me. It's a good question, Aaron. Where would I start with that? Because I'm a caring person, I'm a helping person. Somebody's in need. I'll go. Okay, you know what? I'll go help them. Because they need help. So what I've got going right now, I'll just put that right here, and it'll just stay right there because I got to go over here and help these people over here. So.
So why are those people more important than you?
That's a good question. You know, that's just a good question. See, that's my problem. I don't know how to answer that. I don't know. They just seem to be. You know.
And that's what we look at in a coaching session:
Okay.
is why is that the pattern you've established, and really how do you put yourself back on your list or on your priority list?
Right.
Because you
without
should
being without feeling pompous, arrogant, you know, self-centered.
Nobody wants to be selfish.
Right, exactly. You know, you egotistical maniac, selfish. You know, what do you mean you're not going to help me?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so I guess it's a guilt thing that I'll. Okay, I guess you know I can't.
That's
I can't,
the programming.
You know, that's my little guys in harmony up here, isn't it? You know, I teach someone how to play guitar. You know, maybe it'd be helpful. They could put some music in there too.
Yeah.
That
we
was
start neutralizing the guilt. We look at why do you feel guilty?
Okay.
What are the examples that you've seen where you have to make sure, or where have you learned that you have to not be selfish? You have to avoid that at all costs. We'd look at those things in your life, and we'd start redefining selfish.
Okay.
You can redefine anything.
Yeah, you certainly can. Yeah, you can. Justification. I can justify that.
Right now,
not a problem.
Right now, the way that you have defined selfish limits you.
Yes, it does.
It makes it so that everyone else comes before you, or at least when it comes to maybe accomplishing your goals and your dreams.
Right.
And so if you redefine selfish to be... instead of being arrogant and egotistical and this pompous jerk, what if selfish is really just knowing how to pay attention to and love self?
You know, could that also be a self-defeatist, position? Because I've read a lot of stuff,
mm-hmm.
and could that be where I may be manufacturing these things because maybe a person's I don't know if I'm this way or not, but afraid of success.
Yep,
so
that happens all the time.
if you're I can do that, I know I'm really good at it, but then you start getting right at that precipice of you're there now, but
mm-hmm.
just one step further and you go right through the threshold,
mm-hmm.
but all of a sudden this thing will be manufactured over here that says, well, no, I can't. It's there, but no, I got to go over here now, so I don't step through the door.
And that could be part of it. And really, the first thing I would do with clients is we would start by learning how to set boundaries, how to say no, how to put ourselves on the top of our priority list, how to put ourselves first, because we have to take care of ourselves before we can take care of everybody else.
And that's what I've been reading with the law of attraction. There's a few books that I've read on that,
mm-hmm.
And one is the Secret Behind the Secret, very good book, that actually says, you really have to get this done first before you can go out there and do other things. And if you do get this done first and be successful in your own right, then you'll just breed success.
Right, and I mean, success is contagious. So
right.
As you, I think Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world. So as you become the changes, you are your true, unique self, and you kind of shine that out and radiate out that to your coworkers and your friends and your family. It helps them to kind of lead by your example or take that on, and that's really how the ripple effect changes the world.
Exactly.
Because we can't fix other people.
No, see, and I think that's what I do, and I think there's a lot of other people out there that do the same thing. They think that they can fix that person.
Mm-hmm.
They can't fix that person. That person has to fix themselves. And I don't know if I'm off base with this or not, Aaron. If you're looking at somebody and you see something that needs to be fixed, there's a lot of times that whatever that you see in that person that needs to be fixed inside here. So you're kind of like looking at a mirror.
Yes.
Would that be kind of...
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is, if you have a problem, say you have a problem with me, well, it's not about me, it's about you.
Right.
Right. So, and it's not necessarily that if you think I'm self-centered or selfish, because that's the thing that we were talking about. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to look at that within yourself, but really look at why is that agitating you? Why is that bothering you? I mean, it could very well be that mirror piece. It could be something that's sort of related. It all depends on relationships. I guess, on the relationship